Welcome in everybody to a very special episode of Hootin and Hollerin, where I get to sit down with two FF streamers. All right, they're both F in initial, but they're A plus in my heart. These people have opened the door to retro streaming to me a long time ago when I very first started streaming. They were two people that I ran into actually on the very same day, just because they stream at different time signatures, different time zones. It was just throughout my day. I just went nuts on Twitch. But I'm gonna introduce to you somebody that I met later in the evening that night, and he's a wonderful streamer. One of the first faces that welcomed me into the retro community on Twitch, provided me with my very first layout and logo. Which I still have tucked away somewhere, and I should have queued it up, but I did not queue it up to show you guys. But he has made me wake up my wife more than once by laughing out loud on his streams louder than I should have.
Hey,
And
too many Twinkies.
thank you for that, host Y&D. But people of the world, I would love to share with you a very great streamer of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is ForteFyre. There's ForteFyre right there. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Good. It's like...
How are you,
What
sir? What up?
I'm good.
Welcome in. Keep cheer. More cheers. More cheers. Too many cheers. Too many cheers.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough. That's too many cheers. What's up, dude?
How are you?
I am great. I am so great.
Don't mind my screaming child in the background.
You know what? You have a great microphone because I can't even hear it.
Hell yeah.
Or them. I shouldn't say it. It's just kind of a that's not a nice thing to say.
And children.
Children. So how are the kids? We have kids. They're all right. They're all right. They're all right. But are you hesitant to talk about family? Because we can move right on from that if you don't want to.
No, I'm down to talk about family.
Okay. Well, what can we say? How old are the kids?
So for my previous marriage, I had two stepkids that obviously I don't have anymore.
Uh-huh.
But the kids I have now, Arya, which many of y'all saw whenever she was like fresh, like she's baby fire. She's the most
of the sound effects, right? Like,
she's most of the sound effects.
okay,
yeah.
Okay, if not all of
them.
And
most of them. I haven't gotten Kian to do anything because he's not very talkative. But Arya is 3 years old and Kian is 2.
Okay.
Arya will be 4
okay.
in June, so she's getting up there.
But I mean, seems like a really funny kid from an outside perspective. What is the story behind the scenes of the stream?
I mean, she's just kind of like, she's herself. I don't know. Like I was on a Zoom chat with a general through a professional military course, and she screamed, "Daddy, I shitted." So that's who she is. It's like a.
What did the general say, or is that confidential? Can you not say? Because
the general's like, I think you need to go help your daughters. So like, yeah, I think I do. It was just funny because it was like there were a ton of us, and like my mic was muted or unmuted, and that was a process in and of itself. But it is what it is.
When you're on like a call with your boss, military, right? What type of military?
Air Force.
The shitty one. The shitty one. The shitty one. Why is it the shitty one?
It's a shitty one because I don't know. Whenever you start in the military, you have this like great big thought process of I'm improving the world and I'm fighting wars and I'm doing all these fun things, right? And then once you've been in for 10 years, you're like, the politics are stupid. And I'm being told to wake up at 5 a.m. to go work out because this one guy with a failed marriage and male pattern baldness told me so. And it's just like, I'm so done. I'm done with it. I might actually get out next November is whenever my contract.
November. All right. So you're over it at this point.
I am over it.
You're over it. All right. I mean, how many years was it total? Did you say
10?
10 years.
So halfway through. I know.
That is a long time. So
it's like the one thing they use to keep you in is like, hey, you're so close to retirement.
Like, yeah, but
yeah, cool.
Yeah, like what kind of cost, right? Like
crippling depression and a extruding disc at C6 they won't operate on. That sounds like a great time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oof. How did that happen?
I don't know. It's just years of, I guess, working on airplanes, and it caught up to me, I guess, because I've never been in a car accident, never played any sports. I was a choir kid.
Just like from all
I don't
around,
know.
like twisting and like working on airplane, because it's probably a very physical
It's a
job.
very
I'm,
physical
I'm
job.
guessing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Either that or like Castlevania. Every time I went, like, probably broke me.
When's the last time that you played Castlevania?
It's been a long time for a purpose. Like
Right.
I don't mind Castlevania, but like Castlevania 3 was it was a motherfucker.
It's
I hated that game.
a hard ass game for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Only real workers have C6, C7 herniated discs,
this
according
is
to
true.
according to data.
Yes.
Yeah.
Data. So
Data,
what was going on?
excuse me, Data. My fault, my fault.
C6 is like if you touch your back, that little bump at the very top, that's where C6 is. So it's
Okay,
right where your
right,
fucking
right
neck,
back
man.
there.
It sucks.
Ooh, yeah, no. I mean, that anything in your spine would be terrible.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
it's
it's
not really the
awful.
most fun, but
No, that sounds terrible. So you getting back to where I kind of met you, like you provided me again with like my first logo, right? Like my first
yeah.
little bottom blue bar, which was really cool. And that owl that you gave me was epic, like absolutely epic.
It's straight from Google Images, and I cropped it crudely, and
Yeah, but it worked. It totally worked. You know,
and I
like
think
and
like a week later, you're like, "Hey, would it like piss you off if I change this? Because I've got an artist and he's doing a really cool thing." And I think that was the start of it. I remember, like it was the owl swooping down, and then you
yep,
wanted a sword,
yep.
and there's a font, and I just like combine it all crudely in Photoshop.
And you nailed it though. I was like, I wanted an owl, and I wanted the T and 8-bit to be like a sword, and you did everything
Yeah.
that I asked, and it was
hmm
perfect. And then like so many times when you're streaming, you immediately get sick of your layout and you want to switch it.
Oh yeah, easily. I've changed my logo a few
Yeah.
times.
Not so
You
much
always
sick of
That's
it, but
one of
you
the
always want
things
to
about
change it.
like,
You always want to change
oh
it.
no, that's the part about streaming that's important. You know, you can't be comfortable with what you got, because once you're at that point where you're like, I can't improve anything, there's no point in doing it, right? So
Right, right.
you'll always like um once a month you'll find something you're like, I want to change that, or I want a new
Hmm.
scene, or I want a new gimmick, or I want a new sound effect, or I want a new bit alert. You know, you think of something, and that's what makes it fun, you know, to evolve as a streamer. So I always enjoyed doing
Yeah,
that.
learning off of each other and
Mm-hmm.
you know doing that. And one thing that opened me to that idea was actually your like you have just like a generous open personality to complete strangers. You know,
Oh yeah.
like that's what it was. Is like I walked into your chat and I was like, "Hey, I just started streaming. Can I talk about that here?" You know, and like you were like, "Yeah, man, absolutely," because that's a topic on its own,
And you
you
know,
know.
some people are so fucking insecure about themselves that they'll be like, stop self-promoting. Like,
Right.
no, I just want to grow.
Right, like
Well, you should have you
you're a
should have
brand
had
new
30 years of
streamer.
streaming if you're gonna come in here and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like,
And I
some
mean,
guy said to me.
I guess honestly, I do see it on both sides because that's just the way that I've been brought up is like I get it. Like it's like, well,
Mhm.
you're here, these people are here to watch me. They don't want to hear about you. But it's also not like they're dropping a link. You know what I mean? Like
No, no, no,
it's
not at
not
all.
like they're dropping a link. So I feel like somebody coming into a new channel and saying like, "Hey, I just started streaming. Do you have any tips or anything?" Even if it is a gimmick, I feel like it's an opportunity to share my knowledge with
Yeah.
people, and I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing. Is it a little rude? I'm gonna say yes. I think on one aspect I think it is slightly rude, but I also feel like it's forgivable because I don't think a lot of people know, you know, how it works or what it is. And then there's the flip side where there's people like you that's like it's no big deal at all. Like please go
Yeah,
ahead
it's
and do it, you know,
have
like
fun.
mhm.
I always teach people, you know, because apparently, and unbeknownst to me, because I really don't care that much, I've mentored a lot of people to do this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it always starts the same way. Know your audience, know what you want to do, and know your intention, and make your intention clear. If you want to educate somebody, fucking educate them. If you want to make money, tell them, hey, I'm doing this for money. It's the people that are deceitful that I don't watch. You know, if you're like, oh, I'm just here to educate, and then you go on Twitter and you complain about, oh, I'm not making enough money. I think I'm gonna quit. Ooh woo, you know, that kind of shit. That drives me insane,
Yeah,
man. I
like
hate that so
practice
much.
what you preach on all platforms, please. You
Yeah.
know, they say that you're supposed to be consistent. If you're supposed to be consistent across all platforms in your name, you should probably be consistent in your attitudes across
Oh,
platforms
definitely.
too.
100%.
You know, but
100%.
no, but I would like to just take a minute to like say out of chat, like thank you, like voice to voice, like thank you for what you did for me, like growing, because like I wouldn't be sitting in this alleyway with you right now, which you know it's a little smelly in here, but you know it's a step up from where I was, which was nothing. So this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you. You were many one of people that this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you. So I really do
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
you. Now
Yeah.
you speak if we're talking about streaming here. I love talking about anything on this stream on this talk show, whatever this is, this
Yeah,
thing.
I'm down.
But what you took a break from streaming not too recently,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Right. What can I ask? Can I ask like what the break was for? Was it personal issues or like what? Why did you have to feel the need to like step away? Because I just did too. But why did you feel the need to?
So whenever you put in a lot of energy, it's hard to maintain that. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize, you know, sitting in front of this doing a talk show is easy because I just have to pretend this is a regular Discord call for Ready Go Gaming Show, or you know, just hanging out with group friends and stuff. Whenever you're live, it drains you.
It
And whenever
does.
you're live and also trying to salvage your marriage that you fucked up,
Oh
it
yeah.
does double draining, right? And so I thought to myself, let me figure out my future in a short span of time. If there's a possibility that I can save my marriage, I'll take a 3 month break and just work straight up on my marriage. But by that point, the divorce had already been pushed through, and I had papers in hand. And that was like my lowest of low. Like I didn't think I was gonna make it, and still to this day, there's days where I'm like, I really don't like conscious existence, and I wish it would just end, so I
Wow.
can go
Yeah.
play the great Punch Out in the Sky. You know, but I got kids that I
The
can.
great punch out, not to make light of it, but the great punch out in the sky.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson?
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Okay.
Beat his
Alright.
ass, no lag. It'll be great. But
That would be heaven. I'm sorry, continue.
I was like, I'm gonna take this break, and guess what? It felt good, and it's so funny that whenever people think about taking a break, they think, oh, this is channel suicide. This is the end of it. Like nobody's
Yeah.
gonna come back. My subs are gonna drop down to 10. Yeah, they probably will, because I don't blame anybody for not giving you money when you're not there. That's not how it should be. You know, deliver on a
Right.
product that you do, but um, the people who really care, they'll always come back, and they understand. It's our identity. You as 8-bit Owl, me as ForteFyre, doesn't define our existence at all. It doesn't. You know,
No,
we
not at
still have
all.
lives
Yeah, outside
totally
of it.
outside of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when we are in front of camera, that's who we're expected to be. That's who we're expected to be 24/7 in front of the camera. So I took the break. I enjoyed it. I spent many nights at my ex's house. I was told I was not loved, that I was hated, that I was resented. And at that
Oh.
point, I was like, let's return to who we are. Let's go back to basics. And that's who you see here. That's me. So
Well, and I mean, well, it's really good to see you back, man, because
to be back.
it was I think like a 1 day thing where I was like, hey man, when are you streaming? I miss you. And you're like, I'm not really doing it right now. And I was
Yeah.
like, you're like, but I'll be back soon. And I was like, okay. And then like it was
And
like
then
the
it was
next
that
night.
night.
Yeah, it was like the next night or that night. Yeah, that it was
Yeah.
all like it was like ForteFyre's gone live, and I was like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's
I
get
went
back
I went
into
live
it.
that night.
So, does it feel good to be back? Is it happy to be in like a fresh start and be back at it?
Yeah, and I'm doing better because I'm streaming earlier. Back then, it would take a lot to get me out of bed just to sit over here, that stare at that start stream screen, and then have the motivation to push the button. Right?
I know
It
that
was it
feeling.
was
Yeah.
hard,
Mm-hmm.
and you get distracted. You go to YouTube and you look over. And you're like, okay, I can do something else for 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. Next thing you know, it's midnight,
And
and
you
you're like, all
still
right, I got
haven't
work in
pressed.
5.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. No, I know that feeling for sure.
And
Absolutely.
that was happening every night, man. That was I wanted to at least get 7 hours in so I could take a few days off during the week. And I was getting like 2 hours of streaming. I was falling asleep on the stream. I was like late to work and shit. And, you know, in the Air Force, that's a crime. So I wanted to avoid jail. So I don't.
Yeah, avoid
things are
jail. My
AWOL.
God.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, man. I don't think I'd ever be really cut out for the military. So my hat's
I
off
don't
to
even
you.
think I am.
Yeah,
and
but
here I am doing it.
but you did do it. I mean, 10 years. That's saying something. That's some determination. I mean, what do you want to call that? It's
Bills?
honorable in my bills. It's honorable.
Bills,
in my
that's
mind.
what it's called.
It's honorable.
I don't know. You'll find people who find the military to be honorable. I find it to be an extension of some ideology. It just depends on. I'm not political, and I'm not going to get into politics, but you'll notice that like different presidents will have different agendas, and when those agendas
They all
change,
do,
you don't.
yeah.
You stop focusing about war, which is what it was when I joined under Obama. We were at war. I was a young kid, 18 years old, going to the Middle East. It was all about war with the Middle East. And then, you get other people in office, and then it's all about money, money, money. And then you get an old man in the office, and it's all about identity, identity, identity. And it's like, can we just focus on national defense? Like, goddamn, I joined not to go to fucking inclusivity training and gender sensitivity training. You shouldn't have to do that if you're a decent human being to begin with. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Like, why?
That should just be human basics.
100%.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I never cared about trans individuals in the military because my whole idea was, you go to work as Jack, come home as Jill, whoever you identify as, fine. Just please fix this fucking airplane so I can go home on time. Like, I don't care who you are. I care what you do, and
at the end of the day,
if you're okay,
it's
because that's
about how
kind of
you are as a
supervised what it was.
worker. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
and when I got my
matter what,
master's
who
in-
or how, just do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got my master's in psychology, I started learning emotional intelligence, caring about what people, how they feel, how they identify as, just so I could make them comfortable. And they wanted me to be the mean asshole and tear down these people. Trust me, at 18 years old, the last thing you want is daddy number 4 coming up to you and telling you that you're a piece of shit and you need to do better.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, like who needs
And
that,
that's
man?
who I refuse to be. And so now that's why I put in for Korea today. Come next February, I'm probably not going to be in the United States anymore. I'll probably be in Korea, which will be an interesting thing.
Saw you mention this.
Yeah.
So that's a real possibility for you. You might be. Are you still gonna try to stream from Korea? I don't know how that works.
I don't know, man. I will be streaming. That's definitely going to happen.
That's not like my main concern. It's like, well, whatever. Are you still gonna stream? Like that's not.
Yeah, no, I'll
I'm
stream
saying.
100%. Even if I have to live stream the streets, I will stream. But
look at the dedication.
I'll probably change to just MS DOS stuff through GOG for a long time. It's a year tour, so I can do that, and then I'm gonna try to get a follow on to Japan or the East Coast. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Or England, somewhere fun.
Somewhere just outside of where you are now, right? Like a big change of scene.
Vegas sucks.
Vegas sucks.
Vegas sucks.
Too hot.
Living in Vegas sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm playing with Q-tips.
No, you're good. You're good. I fidget all the time too. Yeah. How long have you lived Vegas all your life, pretty much, or do you move around?
No, 2 years.
2 years.
Oh, I moved around. This is I think my 5th base I've been assigned to.
Okay.
I started off in Florida. I was down at Destin, Florida for 2 years, and then I went to Korea for a year, and then I went to Alaska for 2 years, and then back to Florida at the same place for 2 years, and now I've been at Las Vegas for 2 years, and I don't like staying anywhere longer than 2 years, so it just sucks I don't have the person that I thought was going to be there. Amanda, my Amanda, not your Amanda.
Yeah, that was...
Blew your mind. You're like, wait, yours is called Amanda too? Yes.
Say what?
And I feel for you. I know exactly how the fuck Amanda's can be. So.
Not my panda.
Your Amanda's awesome.
She's pretty good at Lion King.
My Amanda's a very angry, bitter lady, but
well,
they're my children, so.
See, there's still got to be that love there.
Yeah.
I guess.
She's on a date right now. That's why I'm watching the kids and hear him screaming.
Oh.
Yep.
Isn't this life? Wow, dude. Wow.
I don't mind.
I mean, that's saying something, I suppose. But you
I mean,
seem
she
very
messaged me and
comfortable
she's
in
like,
your own
"Hey, can I?"
skin. You know what I mean? You seem very
I have
comfortable with it.
crippling depression and anxiety over it, and I talk to her all the time and tell her, I don't have any anticipations to date ever again. I don't.
Hmm.
I I don't want to marry somebody and have kids. I don't want to mentally feel like I'm replacing my own children. And every time I look at my children's eyes, I see my failures, and that's my cross to carry, and I got to do that every single day. And I'm slowly getting over that fact. I'm kind of hoping that a change of scenery will mix it up for me a little bit. Because I'm the kind of dad where like I'll always be there. I'm not gonna be that deadbeat dad and just disappear, right? That's
Well,
not who I
that's
am.
yeah.
I was paying
I
Amanda
wouldn't think
child
that would be
support
you.
before she ever expected it. I'm changing up my dependent rate so I can get more money just to give her a little bit more money to help her out because that's who I am. I don't need it. I'm not striving to be some rich guy.
Hmm.
Um, and every time she goes on a date, if she tells me, "Hey, I'm going on a date," I'm like, "Hey, okay, cool. I'll watch the kids, I guess," and I spend time with them, and I'm okay with that.
Like
Very
I
okay with
mean,
that.
yeah, because you love your kids, right?
Oh, I love my kids to death. I don't know if they love me, but I don't think.
Of course
And
they do. What kind of talk is that? Of course they
oh,
do.
I get told they don't like me because they hear other people say that they don't like me.
That's
So,
heartbreaking.
but
That's
all I gotta do is put
heartbreaking.
on like YouTube and everything's fine. Because that's the beauty of kids, and that's a theory I wish I could patent and like put in a paper somewhere. But the
Hmm.
beauty of kids, and this is one of the things I always say. It's like one of my quotes: "Knowledge is poison." It really is.
What do you mean by that? Knowledge is poison? Because I've always been told that knowledge is power.
See, knowledge is power when you apply it like that. I think that knowledge is poison. Think about why kids are so happy from a psychological standpoint. They're happy because they don't know.
Or
They
the
don't know.
like the ignorance is bliss type thing.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. They
Okay.
don't know. They don't know death, divorce. They haven't lost their favorite toy yet. They haven't broken a bone. They haven't had chicken pox. They may got sick a few times. They see their boo-boos and it's fixed with a kiss. Like they really don't
It
understand.
was a much
They don't
simpler
know.
time. I do miss those. I do miss those times of not having to worry about bills and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's stressors in life that come from knowledge. You know what happens by seeing homeless people if you don't go to work and get a job. You know what happens if you do drugs because that one weird cousin overdosed in the fucking freeway, right?
Right.
You
Right.
you
Right.
know you know what happens if you eat junk food because you see the overweight people who eat junk food every day. You know at some point in your life whenever you lose your grandmother that's it, right? And that's usually a lot of kids first impression on death is their great grandparents or their grandparents passing away, or even an animal that they know and love passing away. That's their first thing. So yeah, I think knowledge is poison. I really do, because
Well,
I've seen a lot of stuff and learned a lot of stuff in my life that I just really wish I wouldn't have, especially at the age that I was. So
but on the flip side, is it possible to look at those things that maybe are poison and understand the things that aren't poison, more nurturing and like respect and maybe
oh,
not really
absolutely,
respect,
Taco
but
Bell
like, you know what I mean?
chalupas, man.
Yeah, like the good things in life that are delicious, that's the stuff. And like I'm always such like a happy go lucky little thing through life. Like I can be serious when I need to be, but like I'm always like, well, that sucks, but there's chalupas, like
There are chalupas.
so that's always me. And I'm not saying people aren't allowed to be down and sad by any means at all. But I mean,
Yeah.
like it's it's like Eve biting the apple, right? Like Eve, if we want to bring it into a biblical thing,
I'll start
Eve's
with that
biting
damn
the
woman,
apple,
dude.
and see, we're back to that. But no,
I bet her name was Amanda.
all right, so
Fuck.
we can just say somebody bit the apple, and they became aware of all these like nasty things and sin in life, right?
Yeah,
There's
we knew
actually
that we were naked.
There's a Mark Twain claymation that's really really cool. Like it really brings out like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm talking about?
you mentioned earlier that you were Catholic, and I was force fed that shit
I
my whole
am.
life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
still kind of, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious, but I always found, yeah, don't date Amandas.
I must think of my
There's there's
panda.
there's like 50%. You get a good Amanda, you get a bad Amanda. I got a bad Amanda. Al got a good Amanda.
I flipped the coin. I got a good one. I really, really did. I did.
Can you put up
I
a
got
be
super
right back
lucky.
screen? The food is here for the kids. It'll take me like 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine, dude. Actually, when you
We've
come
been
back,
waiting for like 2 hours for this, so.
no, that's fine. Please go ahead. Go right ahead. Yeah. So what we're gonna do when when ForteFyre comes back here? You're good to go, dude. Go for it. Go.
Okay.
Go. You're good. You're good. So what we're gonna do when ForteFyre comes back here is we're gonna play a little bit of game here. The Amanda RNG. That's right, Guilty Slug. I also want to take a minute just to we're gonna play a game when he comes back, as I was gonna say, but I want to take a minute just to say welcome in Jinx, Data, and Guilty Slug, and anybody else that I missed that came in while we started Hootin and Hollerin. Welcome in. I really hope that you guys are enjoying the show. This is a show where we can talk about anything here. Sometimes it's lighthearted, happy, and fun. Sometimes it goes on a serious side, and that was what I wanted this show to be. That's what this talk show is about. This talk show is about breaking down those walls. I don't want it to be fake. It's not scripted. I do have notes that I take down to ask questions, but they're just triggering points, and I really want these conversations to branch out into whatever. There's a Wasabi right there too. Hey, what's up, girl? How's it going? Oh, hey, girl, hey. But yeah, I really am enjoying this format. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. When Forte comes back, we're gonna play this game. He gets to choose, but there is a maze of death that he can try to go through, or where he can play a word game that everybody's played many times before. Forte's the man for it. No, and that's what I wanted. That's really what this is. This is about having good, honest conversation, like breaking down the walls, and it can be absolutely silly. If the conversation talks about farts for 30 minutes, then we talk about farts for 30 minutes, or it can go more serious. I really like this as a platform just to sit and talk, but I hope you guys really enjoy it too. And then after that, we're gonna have Flibbity Flam come on, and probably about, if Flib is out there, I don't like to call people out of lurk even when they're a guest on the show. We're gonna be, it's been good, Owlie. Thanks man, thanks Yeoman, I appreciate it. Fart and dick jokes, that's why this community is the greatest. Yeah, it's one of the many reasons. Majestic Megs, hello, how's it going? Hi, good to see you. Forte is getting his dinner picked up right now, and he's coming back. But yeah, you guys are awesome for hanging out. I really appreciate it. But yeah, when he comes back, we're gonna go through a couple more questions here, and then we'll be playing these games here. But Flib, if you're in chat, like I was saying, probably get ready to get a call from me in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so. Should be a good time. And he's coming back right now. There he is.
Back.
He's back. What's
Hello.
up, man? Well, hello. Hi. So a few more questions for you.
Ask as many as you want.
Now that we're back, and then we got a game to play. So I'm gonna let you pick the game. Thank you, Sabi, for that subscription, or Zedlar for gifting that sub to Sabi. I appreciate it.
What's up, man?
You guys are awesome. So you get a choice between the games, and we'll go into that in a second.
Okay.
So you play on original hardware, right?
I do.
Okay. And
Most of the time, like 90% of the time.
Right. So you have a crazy collection then.
I do.
Because you were on game number 324, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about this collection. What is your favorite of the collections? Like all of it all together, or like PlayStation, Xbox? Like what is the
It's
one
like
that
asking
you
me what
that
my
you prefer?
favorite Beatles song is, dude.
All right. Well, okay.
Like
well,
my favorite Queen song.
if you had to pick one today, what's the flavor of the day?
Okay, so how I determine my favorites is I take the overall library that I have versus the pleasurable experiences I've had with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.
In that regard, the Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn. I've
Okay.
had the best time with it.
Why the Saturn? What game on the Saturn is the one that like really sealed the deal, or like what is it about the Saturn over like say Dreamcast, PlayStation?
Well, those are two different generations.
Well, yeah,
But,
okay, right,
But like for me, I feel like the Saturn is like the most accurate one-to-one representation of the arcade, which is like what Sega's been dreaming to do for years anyway, right? So
Okay.
they didn't do it with the Genesis.
no, they
Look
didn't
at
do the
Altered Beast.
Genesis. I had a
And then
friend
the
that was
Sega CD.
obsessed with the Saturn though, and I didn't really see the appeal at the time. I get it now because like I
Oh, it
understand
just
like
looks good.
retros.
It looks good now.
It does.
I beat Myst on it, which is incredible because Myst on those old systems have a big transition time between all the screens. But I absolutely loved it. Didn't handle like Soviet Strike that well, but I don't think that was the Saturn's fault. I think that was EA's fault. Uh,
We can
Virtual
blame EA for
Highlight.
that.
There's a lot of poo poo on the Saturn. There's a lot of poo poo on a lot of systems. I actually enjoyed the
Yeah.
3DO. A
Yeah.
lot of people poop on the 3DO because angry video game nerds said to.
That's a normal thing though, and I mean he clearly like hams it up for the show because some of the
Oh,
games that
easily.
he rips on really aren't that bad. Like
Mm-mm.
they're really not.
Not at all. Like I love Castlevania 2. Castlevania 2 is a good game once you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you just got to figure out what you're doing. You know what? And I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but there was a Spider-Man game for NES, the Revenge of the Sinister Six. You know that game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Absolute garbage controls.
Yes.
It's terrible, but once you figure it out, totally beatable.
Oh, easily.
Totally fun.
And that's
I
it.
beat the shit out of that game, like more than
Same
on
with
one occasion.
Mylon's Secret Castle. You talk shit about Mylon's Secret Castle. I think that's a beautiful game by Hudson. There's not much that Hudson touched that wasn't gold.
I heard that he
But
doesn't really like write his opinions anymore. Like there's a team that does it for him. Have you heard this? I mean, we're not going
I
to
have
turn
no
this into a
clue.
discussion about angry video.
I knew
gamers,
James years ago. I used to talk to him through
really.
email. Yeah. I used to do these things called blogs of deep thought on screwattack.com, and I was a moderator for the forums back at I was like 17 years old and I was doing it. So that was the coolest thing ever.
Wow, dude, that
My-
is awesome.
Yeah, my
That is
buddy
really awesome.
what's his name? He was a Hispanic dude. He lived down in Bolivia, and it was always his dream to go and work for Screw Attack. And 7 years later, he ended up doing it, and it was awesome. And I ended up working with Gamma Prime, which is a fan group from Screw Attack that made some video games. They were very bad, but they tried, right? And I ended up composing for that again at 17, which I thought was the tits, right? But that was back when Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom were there. Obviously, it's not like that anymore. And one of the days, I reached out to a guy who at the time was the angry Nintendo nerd, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I love your videos." And he messaged me back in Gmail saying, "Hey, thank you." And I'd ask him about it. I have to go way back in the annals, the real anal of the annals, to find these emails. But I mean, he never inspired me to do anything. We weren't buddy, but it was
just
cool.
one fan reaching out to somebody, and he was I guess small
Nothing
enough at the time to
yeah.
take the time to write back, really.
Yeah.
Which is that's awesome. That's cool. That's cool.
He's like, "Hey, yeah, appreciate it."
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna be big things one day. I'm gonna make a movie about me that some people will watch. And video games.
They're gonna pirate.
They're gonna pirate the shit out of my movie. Before we get to the game, one thing that I do want to talk about is the Ready Go Gaming show.
Yeah.
Awesome show, dude.
Oh,
I like what you guys are doing in there. How many are on the team of the Ready Go Gaming show?
I think it's 5.
5? Okay, because they all seem very knowledgeable in what they're talking about, and it's very well put together. I love the editing of the shows; they're incredible. You guys should check it out on YouTube if you have.
I'll tell you the history of the Rego Gaming Show in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, I started off with just me, and then I was typing and recording all this stuff in Format A, which is what the first episode is about Capcom. And I reached out to a dude named Shoto, bro. And Shoto was one of the best retro achievement hunters you will ever see on Twitch. And he ended up stopping a few months after. But I miss that man. Used to watch the hell out of him. Really, really cool. Made episode 2 about RPGs. Nice. Yeah. And Blurgarian, who's now known as Cilia, she doesn't stream anymore after she transitioned because of her voice. Who I met through Marin, who's in the chat, helped me out with that episode. And then we had Bag of Tricks, who was he had a deep rumbling voice. I was like, I want him on there, right? I want him on there. And then I made an episode called It's Software, where I didn't know how to talk about It's Software, so I used the Wikipedia page, much to John Romero's chagrin, or whatever that word is. Barley, I know you know Barley.
I know Barley, yeah.
Barley reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I really like this episode. Can I like tag John Romero on it?"
What?
And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's so exciting." And John Romero
Do it.
fucking hated it, bro. God, he was like, "This is video game history told wrong," and it broke my heart. Marin remembers that.
No!
It broke my heart because
He
he
said this is
legit
video games
shit on
history.
this on Twitter.
He said it was told wrong.
Yeah, he was like, "This is wrong," and you can't say anything bad against John Romero because then he'll be like, "No, this is not how history is. My hair says otherwise." You know what I mean? Like, and his wife was like, "Hey, if you want to do a one-on-one interview with John, buy this book. This will give you a good starting point, and you can ask him some questions." And then they started working on a project, and Tom Hall got involved, and I was like, I never got that interview, and I was excited about it. But Brenda came in clutch, and she was like, "He didn't mean it like that. He's just got a very abrasive personality." He's like, "No fucking shit, he's abrasive. He made Daikatana." But after that, I started rounding up a bunch of people who would have specific jobs. I had Marin on the team as somebody who would always help talk and give me creative advice. I invited Barley. Barley was my quality assurance guy. Breath of the Lyle was quality assurance. Tesseract E was public relations and ideas and fact checking. And then eventually, I don't know if you remember, he's called Farty now, but back then he was called Indie Kebab.
Indie Kebab. Indie Kebab
And
sounds more familiar, but Farty.
And even before then,
Farty,
he was
Farty's
something else.
just a great
Marin will
name.
probably remember what it is.
What is it, man?
I don't think it was Indie Kebab. It was something else.
Indie Kebab. No, Indie Kebab.
Yeah, he changed his name a few times. He's got a new name now, but he doesn't like it, so I'm not gonna bring it up because he doesn't want to be credited as it.
Okay. All right. Well, then we won't bring that up then.
Yeah. No, that's just I'm not gonna say it. But and then we got Ace Gaming LPs as an assistant producer. So we had this whole group of
yes, I know
a whole group of people that were creating awesome things. And then after I think the timing was bad, but Marin dropped out because of a job issue that she was having, and I gave her a high five and wished her the best because she's one of my best friends.
Hey, you gotta
She's
take care of life.
my shoulder to cry on. So I told anybody if they ever had to walk away, go ahead and do it because I'm not going to judge them. This was a community project. It was something that I led exclusively. And then Barley ended up leaving kind of because I don't think he streams anymore, but he's still on the team. And then Ace started having issues, so he dropped out. So far, it's just me, Breath of Lyle, Lord Knight, Caleb Com, Farty, and Tesseract. And it's a very simple team, and we work on a lot of videos. But the one I really want to plug, if I'm allowed to, is
absolutely. You can plug anything you want, man. This is your time.
So Rego Gaming Show, the main series is awesome, right? Because what we do is we talk about history of genres, franchises, and genres, franchises, and companies from the start to finish. We deep dive. We'll go through the Wayback Machine to find the original websites for these companies, find out their information, and then we'll cover every single franchise that they ever made, which means for genre videos like survival horror, you get to see a lot of unique games that you probably never knew existed, and that's what that is for. Then we have Ready Go Gaming Show Special, which is less than 20 minutes because these big episodes can go up to an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah, they go really, really long. Like your Atari one was 15 minutes, which I thought was surprisingly
that was special.
Short. That
was
but it was a special. Right?
I could have made it a 2-hour episode. I just didn't want to talk about Atari again.
All right, let's move on.
What was the early history of Atari? We called it all the way up to I think where they got broken up and the assets change, and then we'll cover up until Infogrames and Atari SA, which is what they're known as now. And then the next episode for that's From Software. Then we're talking about Irem, and then Vic Takai, then Arika, then Codemasters, and Frictional, then Frontier. We got a bunch of things. I think we're covering Interplay as well.
So you got a ton of stuff.
And then
planned.
Westwood and BioWare.
Ooh, are you gonna do? Are you have you plans to do Sierra games like Space Quest?
I already did.
Oh yeah, you did already.
You did already. It was
shit. Which
episode? The Blizzard
was that?
episode.
Yeah.
So when we were doing Activision Blizzard, we broke it up because we knew it would be a 4-hour episode because we needed to cover both the histories. So we ended up covering Blizzard Davidson, the people who made Math Blasters, and Sierra because they were all one family. They were under the same company.
I didn't know that Okay, I need to go back and watch that episode.
It's a really good episode.
I
It's one of
really
my
need to
favorites.
watch it because I love Sierra. I love Space Quest. I just switched my whole family out to doing PC games and
Mhm.
stuff. So like, I really would love to go back and watch that now. So you guys should go watch that too if you haven't.
And the big one, and this is
Mhm.
the important one because this is the one I put the most energy into, and it's very time consuming. It took me almost 18 days to work on. Is the Generations episodes. It's 9 episodes that cover each of the generations of gaming. And it's a deep dive into the history of the entire generation and every console that was involved with it. That came
Wow.
out. It's called Pong Wars. You should definitely check that out. It is
Pong
100%
Wars.
worth it.
That's the Pong Wars episode because I saw that
Yeah,
one and I clicked on the Atari one because I wanted to watch like the most recent one, but I didn't get a
yeah.
chance to
Watch
watch
Pong
that one.
Wars. That's a Hollywood style video.
Oh, I will after stream tonight. That'll be. It's I'll like we'll go raid somebody and I'll be like, hate to raid and run, but and that's what I'll be doing. You know,
Yeah,
that's
definitely
what
watch
you
it.
got to do when you raid and run. You want to play a game?
Yeah, let's play again.
All right, let's play a game. All right, so you get to either play the word game. I'm going on a space voyage, or you can play the impossible maze, which is actually quite possible.
Is it the Impossible Maze? It's scary at the end.
It's not scary. It's just all words. Everything that we do is words. We're not gonna. There's no screen that you have to go to or anything.
This is like an ad lib.
It's pretty much like an ad lib. Pretty
Okay, let's
much.
do the
It's pretty
Impossible
much like an
Maze.
ad lib. I have the correct directions written out of where you should go on a piece of paper right here. So I'm not just making up if you're right or wrong on the go. Okay.
Okay.
You get 3 lives.
All
Okay.
right.
You can write. It's more of a memory game than anything else because you have to remember. If you die, you go back to the start of the maze. Okay. So you have
Okay.
to remember the correct way to go. If you go the wrong way, you basically die. Okay.
Okay.
3 chances. Okay. Here we
Okay.
go. All right. So, all right, you come up to this maze, right? And there, it's like at the foot of a tree, and the tree opens up. This is kind of like D&D almost. You walk,
This is
but
Zork, bro.
there's no.
This is
there's,
legit Zork
right,
1.
This is legit Zork 1. So the tree opens up, and it's like its trunk just expands, and you walk into the tree, and you go down the roots, and you work your way down. You're under the earth. It's cold and dank and dark, and it smells like mushrooms and blah. And you have 2 pathways in front of you. There's a left and a right. Which way do you go?
Left.
Left. All right. So you work your way through the darkness to the left, and you can hear this like crackling sound. And for a minute you think that the cave is gonna fall in on you, but it doesn't, and you actually make your way through the first. Congratulations. So that's correct. All right. So you come up. You after a while you work your way to the next corridor, and there's another pathway in front of you, and it goes off to the left and to the right. There's nothing discerning between these 2 pathways. Which way do you go?
Right.
You go right. Okay. So the right way is actually the incorrect way.
No!
You come across a worm, and this worm is gigantic. It actually lets out a fart, which it is not possible for most worms, but this worm actually is made of anuses, and this worm farts, and it kills you with toxic farts, so you die.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Sorry, buddy. All right. So you're back at the start of the maze. You're at the first corridor. Which way do you go?
Left.
All right, you go left. All right, and then the next time that you come up to this, you see this like worm corpse laying there, but you're kind of dizzy from the last. You're still conscious of your last death. So which way do you go now?
Left.
That's right, correct. All right, so you work your way down to the left, and there's this corridor in front of you now. There's a left, right, and there's also a ladder going down. Which way do you go?
Fuck. I'm gonna go down the ladder.
Okay, we go down the ladder. All right.
It's Miller time.
What kind of game doesn't have graphics? The graphics that are in your mind, son. All right,
This is D&D,
so
bro.
this is D&D, bro. All right, so you did. Which way did you go?
Down the ladder.
You went down the ladder. All right, so you go down the ladder, and at the bottom of the ladder there is a mirror beneath your feet. And as you step on the mirror, you can see yourself give yourself the finger, and then the mirror cracks and it breaks, and you fall to your death. Sorry, you're done.
Fuck! This is an impossible maze.
It's called the Impossible Maze. Okay, so you're back at the start, and you have a corridor in front of you. It goes off to the left and to the right. Which way do you go?
Left, left, right.
Yep, very good. All right, yep, good job. All right, left, right. So you made it to the end of your corridor. Now you have another direction in front of you that is left, right, and there's another ladder going down.
How many mirrors are in this fucking tree, bro?
You'll see. You'll see. You're way under the ground now. Left, right, or down, good sir. You get a prize if you get all the way through the maze, by the way. There's a prize that I will send to you.
I didn't know there was an incentive.
There's an incentive. Yeah, that's the whole point. So now there's an incentive.
Left.
All right, you go to the left. All right, so you go to the left and you come across these 2 wine goblets on a table. They're identical in shape. They're identical in size.
No.
They're identical in smell. Do you take the one on the left? Or do you take the one on the right?
Right.
Okay, you take a sip of the wine.
I'm dead as fuck.
And you transported out of the maze! You fucking made it, man! Congratulations! You did! You won! You won! Congratulations! Yay! I can't believe it. No, there was a good chance that you were gonna lose. You actually made it through the maze. He made it through the impossible maze. Congratulations. So actually what you're going to win is an owl mug. I'm going to send you an owl Hootin and Hollerin mug because you were on Hootin and Hollerin. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man.
Very, very much so. Any words of advice to the people before we cut this off and we transfer over to Flibbity Flame?
Never lose sight of who you are and never accept anything less from anybody else. That's legit the mantra that I have. Just everyday living is another day learning. And never sacrifice who you are for other people. That's love yourself, know yourself, and live your life.
Never sacrifice who you are for other people. That was what stuck out to me the most. That's all good, all good.
And never look down on anybody unless you're helping them up. That's a big one too.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up one more time for ForteFyre. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. I hope you had just as much as fun as I did.
I did. This is cool.
Thank you.
I'm not doing that maze next time if you have me back on.
No. The thing with games is I try to do. I know you made it though. You made it very, very good. I like that. It's about bringing out the anxious. Got to bring out the anxious in you. All right, but thanks, man. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go get Flib all mic'd up and into the alley. Thank you guys for sticking around. Give me about, I'd say maybe 5 to 8 minutes, and we'll get this running. Thanks again, ForteFyre. We'll see you later.
Take care, man.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.